Hey everybody. I know it was a couple days. Um, I said I was going to have this letter done yesterday, but things came up and I didn't get to it yesterday. But I got my letter that I'm going to send Watchtower, and I want to read it to you guys. This is the envelope I'm going to send it in. You can see it's to Watchtower. That's their address they said to send it to. That's where I'm going to send it. And I kept it short and sweet. It's only 2 pages. Tell me what you think. I think I put in a few things that should get to them. Dear Watchtower, I met a Jehovah's Witness a while back and started looking at your website. I have been reading literature and watching your monthly broadcast and some of the other videos on your website. I know that Jehovah's Witnesses do not vote, so now I'm very confused about things I have seen. I know headquarters should be able to answer. Witnesses I spoke to do not know the answer. I noticed that Jehovah's Witnesses are on the membership list of the OSCE, which is the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe. I heard a representative from the Jehovah's Witnesses speak there. Jehovah's Witnesses have been lobbying the different governments for protection. My question is, how can the organization lobby, yet the members cannot? Why don't the members know that you do this? Everyone I asked said they didn't know and hadn't known about it. So I figured that since the people on the phone at headquarters said to write, I would write to you, since none of them seemed to know that Philip Brumley spoke to the OSCE. The legal department blew me off when I tried to talk to them. So why does your organization deal with Satan's organizations for protection when Jehovah has shown in the Bible to protect his own people? If Jehovah's Witnesses are to be no part of this world, why do you do that? Plus, keep it a secret from your members. I trust you will give me an honest answer because you call your religion the truth. So I await your truthful answer. I want to see what they say. If I don't hear anything from this one, I might write another one. Maybe in a little more detail. Because, see, this is the point. When I call Watchtower or any of the branches to ask them about something that they don't know about, well, everybody that I talk to is hearing about it and maybe planting a little seed that might grow inside to be curious enough to go and research it to see if the person on the phone is telling the truth or not. You know, maybe they'll get curious enough to look. Any Jehovah's Witnesses that might watch my videos, the reason I put my calls up and the reason I read my letter, if I get a response, I'll read the response, is because I want Jehovah's Witnesses that might watch to see how much runaround they give you when you do ask questions, and if they give truthful answers or not. Now, if you look back at the video that I put up about my call to Watchtower headquarters, they gave me the runaround each and every time I called. The first time, I think somebody said in the comment section that they had me talk to 10 different people. Nobody knows the answer. No one's even heard of it. No one knows anything about it. Now, maybe they're told not to say anything about it, even if they do know. But if you call the legal department and ask them, how come you're a member of the OSCE? And they don't know. Well, that's an all-out fabrication, because the applications have to be filled out every year. Someone has to sign those applications for them to be members. Those applications have to be approved by headquarters before those other branches can do those things. So those other branches aren't doing things that headquarters isn't aware of. So, you know, headquarters, world headquarters, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society knows what's going on, but they refuse to tell anybody what's going on. They won't tell you the truth. They won't be truthful. And if they do know something, they'll tell you that they don't know, which, you know, that's a lie to begin with. But they're told to do that, and so they do that. Now, is it okay for an organization of people that call their religion the truth to lie that much to people? And not just lie, but lie by omission? Because if you're not letting your members know that your own lawyer, your head lawyer for the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is sitting on a panel with other people, political people, talking about political things that happen in the world, why aren't the members told about those things? Why do they hide it from their members? That's lying by omission. Because the members, if you confront them and say, well, I have proof, number one, they don't want to see your proof. Because if they haven't heard of it from Watchtower, they consider it an apostate lie. Even if it's the truth, and you can prove it, they'll still call you a liar. So, you know, all people have to do is Google OSCE membership list for 2018, which is the most current one that they've posted. And go through, scroll down the list, and you will see Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Jehovah's Witness Organization of Poland, Germany, all these European countries, all these branches all over the place of members of the OSCE, which is a political organization affiliated with the UN. You guys have been hearing a lot about it lately, and I've been talking about it for a year and a half, and it seems like nobody's aware. They used to be an NGO for the UN. Well, they're not now, but they're still associated with the UN through the OSCE. And so people really aren't aware that they still are associated with the UN, and they are NGOs to the OSCE, and their lawyers and their members and all of them are lobbying governments all over the world for protection. My opinion is that since through history it's shown that God takes care of and protects his own people, that if they are God's organization, why do they have to go to Satan to ask for protection? They shouldn't have to. They should put all of their faith in their God, and let their God protect them. They should not have to go to Satan to ask for protection. You know, why go to Satan and say, will you protect us so nothing happens to us in your country? No. Oh, this is Lucky, you guys. Oh, Lucky is my big male cat. You see how much bigger he is than Louie? And Louie wants to pick on him. He's twice as big as Louie, outweighs him, you know. He must weigh at least twice what Louie weighs. And Louie wants to pick on him. And I'm afraid one day Louie's gonna give him a new nostril to his nose or something. But this is Lucky. Lucky, he's the only male cat I have, and he's fixed. No more kittens around here. But I've been talking about Watchtower and the OSCE for so long, and I wish I don't feel like people are listening. You know, when people say, "Oh, well, they were with the UN until 2001," well, they still are. They never stopped. They just changed the avenue that they enrolled with them through, but they're still with them. You know, it's not a past thing, it's a present thing. They always have been, and they still are partners with the UN through the OSCE. The OSCE deals with small arms and human rights and stuff like that. But yeah, they're asking Satan and Satan's organization to protect them. I don't see the logic to that. But one other thing I wanted to mention. Now, most people, when they leave the organization after years and years, they've been filled with their head for so many years that you shouldn't vote and you shouldn't be involved in politics and all that stuff. But I want to tell you how important it is. Now, if you don't want to vote, that's fine, don't. Because even a lot of registered voters don't vote. I mean, a lot of them don't turn out. There's only a percentage of registered voters that actually vote. But it's really important that you apply to be a registered voter and get your little voter registration card. I have one. I wonder if I can find it up here for you. No, I have it around here somewhere. Is it in this pile of stuff here? No. I know I have one. Laying around here somewhere. We got all my cards and stuff up everywhere. Is this one it? No, that's my insurance. I'll find it later and show it to you. But it's a little paper card, and it tells you where your assigned location is to go vote. And all they want to know is your name and address and your birth date and just general things that are, public information anyway. And they'll send you a card that says you're a registered voter. Now, what happens is you don't have to vote if you don't want to. You can just put it in your sock drawer and forget about it if you want. But things will come up in your city or state elections or where they want people to vote on their opinion on things. And what Watchtower's been doing is lobbying governments and also cities and states for protection. Mostly from protection from hate crimes. Now, hate crimes are where there's a perceived violence against a race or religious group or something like that. Look, Lucky, quit doing that. And there's a thin line between a hate crime and going to jail for a hate crime, because if you speak up against an organization like we do, we speak up against Watchtower on YouTube and other social media, and that can be perceived as a hate crime because they say that it can incite others to violence. Even though you're not a violent person and you would never do anything to harm somebody, they can say that the words that you use might incite someone else to become violent. So there's a thin line in there, And Jehovah's Witnesses organization is trying specifically to get their organization name included in those laws. So when they have a list of organizations that might be attacked by hate crimes, like the gay and lesbian community, the Muslims, Jehovah's Witnesses, they want it written right out, Jehovah's Witnesses, in the law, so that their government will protect them. And like I say, I will call up a local government and say, now listen, you're asking voters to vote to protect an organization that needs to be investigated, not protected. They need to be investigated for misuse of donations, using their religious, charitable status to buy and sell real estate, which has nothing to do with religion. But they're doing all of that and getting all the tax breaks and everything because they're a religion. That needs to be investigated, because I don't think that's right. They're not just buying and selling kingdom halls. They're buying properties, fixing them up as to like a big business center, and buying and selling houses, condominiums, business properties, all that stuff that have nothing to do with Jehovah's Witness religion. But they're using those tax breaks and the charitable status to make lots and lots of money off of the real estate they buy and sell. That needs to be investigated. Plus, their child sex abuse problem that they won't confront, that they're hiding, and asking states, cities, and governments to, just dismiss that because we're a religion, you can't tell us to do that. No. When children are involved, the government should close those doors until it's settled, fixed, repaired, and won't happen anymore. But no, they get away with a lot just on the basis of we're a religion. Yeah, well, I don't think they're baptizing members as fast as members are leaving. They're in a big hunk of trouble right now. And the more we push the governments and everybody to investigate them first before you ask people to protect them. Look into who you're trying to protect. Salt Lake City, Utah just passed that hate crime thing. And I saw it come up on my Google Alerts. And you know what? I call Salt Lake City, Utah. I love calling people. But I called them and I asked them, I says, you're asking people to protect them, but has anybody in your government office investigated them to find out if they're worthy of being protected? No, they don't. They ask for protection and they'll put it up for a vote and the voters vote on it. Nobody ever looks into if they're doing anything wrong or if they should be investigated by anybody. They don't care. They don't look into it. If you are a registered voter and you call your local city and state government and ask them to investigate them instead of protecting them, the only way they will listen to you is if you're a registered voter. If you're not a registered voter, whatever you have to say doesn't mean anything. Because they're only going to help people that are registered to vote for them or against them or however it goes. Because that's the way politics works. Now, me calling Salt Lake City did no good whatsoever because I'm not a registered voter in their jurisdiction. So my phone call did absolutely nothing, but maybe opened a couple of eyes or ears, maybe. I don't know. But if you see those kinds of things happening in your community and your state, and you want to speak up and say something, The only way your voice will count or your signature will count or anything is if you are a registered voter. Otherwise, they just cross your signature off the list and it doesn't matter. Because they always check them against the sheet. Are they a registered voter? Yes. Okay. Are they a registered voter? No. Cross them out. Because that vote and that signature doesn't count unless you're a registered voter. You want to go speak in front of your city council or your state office. If you are a registered voter, they'll listen to you. Sometimes you can't even get in the door unless you can show you're a registered voter. In a lot of things, if you sign a petition, they will check it against the registered voters. If you're not a registered voter in that area, it doesn't matter. You can say, yeah, I signed it, but your signature as far as swaying the government isn't going to matter one way or the other because you're not a registered voter. So like I say, if you believe in not voting for the president or whatever, then don't. A lot of people that are registered voters don't vote. It's a proven fact. You can look it up yourself. There's only a certain percentage of people that actually vote for the president anyway. Most people don't have the time, or they're busy working, or something happened that they can't go, and they don't. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them that actually go out and vote all the time. So if you are a registered voter and you don't want to vote, fine. Stick it in your sock drawer and forget about it. But if something comes up that you want to speak up and say something about, if you're a registered voter, then your voice will matter. So don't be afraid to go out there and get your voter registration card. Don't be afraid to do it. They're not going to ask you anything silly, or anything that'll hurt. All public knowledge stuff, where you live and what your name is and stuff like that. If you don't want to vote for a president, then don't. You don't have to. Just because you're a voter doesn't mean you have to. It just means that you can if you want to. So I encourage everybody to do that. But I'll let you know I'm going to mail this letter off in the morning. It's a little late in the day now for my mailman, but it's going to go in the mail. Like I say, if I don't receive a reply, I'm going to write again. I'm going to write until I get a letter back. Trust me. And if I send another letter, I'll read it to you before I send it off. But I just wanted to let y'all know. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.